Lo. Are you struggling to make sense of the footage that you've captured? Well, don't worry because I've got you covered. In this video, you will learn how to turn a jumbled mess of clips into a coherent and compelling story right now. Okay, if you are looking for tips about editing, transitions, color grading, and all that technical stuff about editing, this is not the video for you. However, if you are serious in learning how to make your life easier as an editor who needs to deal with tons and tons of footage, then you've come to the right place because that is what we're going to talk about, and let's get started. The basic concept of video editing is a distillation process. If someone asks you, how was your day? You don't answer them with, oh, I wake up at 7 a.m. and I stood from my bed and I went to the kitchen and make sugar and coffee, but there was no sugar and so on and so forth. That's not how you answer. That, for me, is the perfect example of video editing. You don't tell them what happened to you from the time that you woke up to the time that you went back to bed. You look for your high points and your low points. You pick the best or the worst moments of your day and you tell a powerful and compelling story. So how do you make things easy for you to edit terabytes of footage? This is how I usually do it. First up, it's essential to organize your bin, okay? File organization is the backbone of video editing. This means sorting out through all of your footages and organizing them in a way that makes it easy for you to be able to find what you need. Remember, don't get overwhelmed with all the footage that you have, especially if it's a mess, because it's supposed to be like that. If it's not chaotic, then something is wrong. It is your job as a video editor to organize all these clips from different places. You need to create a foldering system that would be easy for you to understand. The way that I do it is I separate it by file type. I'll have a folder for my footages shot on my camera, another folder for footages from my drone, a folder for my audio files where inside it I have folders for music and voiceovers, and then another folder for graphics. 50% of your editing time should focus on organization so that when you start throwing things into the timeline, it would just be a walk in the park and not go through every folder every time that you are editing. Next, it is important to select the best portions of your clip before putting it down on your timeline. This way, you are guaranteed that every shot has a purpose. When reviewing each and individual clip, what I usually do is that I already mark the in and out points of each and every single one of these clips and throw it on a separate timeline. I call this timeline selects. I also put markers and start putting down notes. This step in your editing process will make it easier for you to edit later when you start to assemble them in your actual project timeline. Editing a video is like watching a sunset. Every frame, every color, every movement is an opportunity to capture beauty and evoke emotion. So select the best parts of your clip before you start editing them to create an epic narrative. Editing is more than just about cutting out the bad parts. Pacing is also critical. If you really want to improve your editing dramatically, then you need to know when to speed things up and when to slow things down to create a video that keeps your audience engaged from start to finish. So how do you nail pacing, you might ask? That is a difficult question to answer. And my answer to that is that you need to watch other videos and feel the rhythm and pacing of these videos. Whenever you are watching a movie or a YouTube video, take note of how fast or how slow they change these clips. It would help if you clap every time a scene changes when you watch something. That way, aside from the visual cue, you also have an auditory cue as to when the scene changes. Like that. Pacing is not about how fast or slow your music is. You can have a fast-paced music, but your video transitions are longer and slower. It could be the other way around. You don't always have to follow the beat of every music. You can off-sync and change the frame when the beat hasn't dropped yet. Because if you always cut to the beat, your videos will get to a point that it's already monotonous and boring. It will lose the anticipation you are trying to build to get to your climax of your video. Pacing is also not about how quickly you cut your videos. Pacing is all about how fast or slow you deliver your storylines and plot points to your video to be able to convey emotion. So don't be afraid to cut out that footage that doesn't serve the story or feels slow. Keep your audience engaged by keeping the pace snappy. Before you finalize your edit, it is important that you watch the whole thing as if you've never seen it before. It helps you catch any mistakes or inconsistencies that might otherwise go unnoticed. I know editing videos can be so overwhelming, so if you have a friend who can watch it for you, the better. But if there's no one around, just take a break. Leave it, read a book, or watch a movie. Play with your kids, just don't edit. My personal rule of thumb is that I get back to my edit the next day already, so that your mind and eyes stay fresh to spot what is missing and what is needed in your edit. Finally, it is important to learn when to stop editing. It is easy to get caught up in the details and spend too much time tweaking and refining, but at some point, you need to step back and declare your project finished. Now that you know how to be a more efficient editor, it's time for you to focus on how to tell your story. So click these videos right here and don't forget to smash that subscribe button so that we can all learn, create, and share. So peace out.